WIF is going to be the best performing asset, of this cycle, which, WIF's my second biggest meme bag. Like, I mean, it's really been the meme economy has been dominated by dogs, right? As silly as it sounds to even say that as a grown man, it's true.
Yeah.
So you just find a cute dog and throw a hat on it. You get some big, crypto influencers behind it, and they basically run marketing campaigns. And, it was trading well against Solana, right?
I love this guy. I really do. The way he breaks it down, like I feel like I'm in school.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here, like I'm notating. What's up, Max?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good, man. How's everything on your side, brother?
Everything's great, man. Kind of taking the day off. Stock market's closed. We usually kind of operate our business around the New York opens and close. So I'm actually working from my apartment today, but I can't stop, man. I've been working all morning. It drives me crazy not being at my office actually working. I think I might have a problem, but whatever.
Might have a problem. Yeah. Right now I have a problem. Somebody comes into a space like 2 days ago and they're like, yo, check out this cat. I think it's going to do amazing things. $22 million market cap. I'm like, fuck this. Like, I don't know. Like, information overload and shit. Like AJ said when he came on here. Yo, this shit's at 140.
Cat coin. You're talking about?
No, I don't know what it. I don't know. It's Nope. Is it Nope? Nope. Nubs.
That's the same one. Yeah, Nubs.
There's too many meme coins these days. I can't even. I rely on you guys to tell me what they are. I don't even know what half of them are anymore. People, they hit me up in my DMs and comments. They're like, "Hey, have you seen like XYZ coin?" I'm like, brother, I do this every single day, and I have no clue what you're talking about. It's a
bro. I wish I can get into everything. Like, I don't have enough powder. Like, I don't have enough powder to spread around. It's just that simple. Like, if I can catch it when it comes out, that would be great, right?
Yeah.
But like at 22 mil, like I would have to put in a good amount in order to see anything. I mean, I don't want to just participate and be a participant. Like, hey, you get a you got to like the participation awards. Like, I don't want to get a participation award. Like, I want to win, bro. But yeah, what's going on? And what are you seeing? Have you been looking today?
I have been. Yeah, I definitely have some stuff I'd love to share with you guys. I'm just gonna real quick ping my community, let them know that if they want some charts to come hang out with us here. So give me like
no problem. Seconds. Go ahead and do that. I'm doing the same on my end.
Yeah, tag. Sounds like a
damn, bro.
This keyboard over.
Who are you mad at?
Sorry, yeah.
What the hell was that?
I'm kind of a loud typer, man, and my microphone is right by that. See, I need to be at my desk when I have the third-party keyboard. But yeah, I have been watching the market all morning, man. I mean, the theme that I'm seeing right now is we're really just waiting for Q1 to be over with, which is kind of annoying, right? It's the last trading session. I mean, the New York Stock Exchange is not even open, right? So yeah. Legacy is gone. They're in the Hamptons hanging out, probably by the pool, Billionaires Row. And, we're all of us crypto guys are sitting here just watching like this tight little range. And I've been saying this for a couple weeks now. As good as some of the charts look, and, you can always find an altcoin that's going to do well. But here's the deal, like, the calendar rollovers do matter, and a lot of people out there, a lot of big money is sitting there waiting for Q2. They probably, they deployed January 1st. They've taken some profits, middle through end of March. They want to lock in some Q1 gains and go back to their investors and say, hey, look at how much money we made. These are realized. We can bank these. And they're going to begin to redeploy in Q2. So we're just kind of sitting here. I'm extremely bullish heading into Q2. But I've been saying this for weeks now. I'm not expecting fireworks until next quarter. So we just got to get through March, which, by the way, is historically a terrible month for risk. And on top of that, we need to usher in the new quarter. So there's a lot that I want to prospect out on what I think is probably going to pop off in Q2. But that's kind of the theme that we're seeing right now. It's a Friday. It's the last, weekday trading session. But, I think things look pretty good altogether.
I want to say that, by the way, before you get started,
yeah,
Crash gave you like a massive compliment. yesterday. He was like, Max really knows what the fuck he's doing. Like he thoroughly enjoys the way you chart, and he has absolutely no idea how you don't have 100,000 followers yet. And I sit back and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. Uh, I never will, but credit is due. Like I don't understand how more people aren't following you, and I hope through our show at least people will see like, yo, this boy knows what he's doing. So shout outs to you, bro.
Yeah, you guys are real kind, man. I gave you guys a little bit of love. I did my first ever like hashtag FF. I've never done one of those before. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school or boomer, but it just kind of felt like a lot of people do them just to kind of engagement farm. And I've never really been about that, which is maybe why I don't have more followers. But I mean, you guys, seriously, you guys, you do everything to try to be the wind in my sails, and you guys spotted me early. I'm still a micro cap, right, in terms of followers. So I appreciate you guys. You have a huge platform. You guys have a great show. You've always been kind and welcoming to me. He's a new friend of mine for sure, but I mean, he's a great dude. And talk about someone that really understands these markets and how to navigate them. So that's a hell of an endorsement and a compliment coming from him as well. So I appreciate all three of you guys.
I like it. Go ahead, AJ.
So you both practice what you preach. That's cool. You put your own time, energy, and money on these things, and you do it in the name of education. You don't do it in the name of shilling. So I've been educated by you guys, you and Crash. So, I mean, I appreciate it. You guys bring a lot of value. Your numbers are going to go up. It's going to happen. And does FF mean friends forever?
Dude, I'm not even going to lie. I have no idea what it means.
I don't either. Honestly, is it follow Fridays?
One of the F's for sure stands for Friday. I don't know if it's follow Friday or friendship Friday or
some
other combination. It's friend.
AJ,
follow is in there.
AJ, he knows what it is. He just doesn't want.
No, I thought it was friends forever post. I was like, hey, we're friends forever. I don't know. Maybe
we can roll with that. I like that. We're friends. We'll be friends forever. All right.
Man,
we'll go with that. Whatever it means, we're going to.
Oh my God, this is getting horrible.
I'm sorry, guys. Let's get back to the charts. Yeah.
This is why they get on us for having Teslas. But okay, it is what it is.
Teslas are badass. I don't
Friends
know.
Forever. Let's go to the charts.
All right. So David and AJ, this is your guys' show. All right. I don't want to talk about any tickers that are not friends of your guys' brand.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because
dude, WIF. Okay, WIF last night came to the space.
WIF was on our show.
Yeah.
I was doing an interview with a dog.
With a hat. A dog with a hat.
Yeah, and it wouldn't answer. It's even thumbs up and thumbs down, but then we had a conversation. Again, shout out to them. But go, AJ, go. You're doing this. Go.
We had to do yes, no questions. Thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no. I asked questions. We all asked questions like, "Hey, is it true that you're going to be advertising with the WIF on the Sphere?" And it was like thumbs up. So like stuff like that. The Sphere, So yeah, it was actually a cool thing. So you putting this up is actually timely because we're curious.
That's funny. Yeah. That's so funny.
So I actually wasn't going to start with this. I think we need to take one step back. And by the way, this is a local range. I got a lot of drawings we're going to share here today, guys. But why we should care about WIF, right? Do we understand the meme? Is the meme the best meme out there? I don't know, right? It's subjective. It's art just like PEPE, right? It's in the eye of the viewer, right? It's in the beholder's control. So, for some people, they love the cute dog with the hat. Other people, they say they don't get it. I'm not here for that, right? I think all of the memes are pretty good. But why should we really care about WIF, right? I mean, for one, it's pumping. But why we should really care about WIF is that WIF is actually outperforming that of PEPE. So this is the WIF PEPE pair. All right, I'm going to put this right here. So PEPE obviously is my big bet for the top performing meme of this cycle. All right, you guys know that. My followers know that. Let's do this here. So, actually, I'm going to redraw this just so we can do it live because I want people to learn how I do this. Okay, more than anything. I mean, I can just show you and jump to the end, but let's go through it, right? So we've looked at it before like this. We identify a simple level, right? whenever the chart gets up into this region, and I'll take a step back and explain what we're looking at for basically the entire quarter. This is January 18th right here to the left. Whenever we've gotten up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we've rejected down. Okay. And on the other side of that, whenever we've gotten into this region, roughly around here, okay, we've bounced, right? We've basically just been in a range on this pair for 3 months. All right. Now, what is this pair? What does this mean, right? So this is WIF paired against PEPE. So what we're doing here is we're trying to determine which asset is stronger. All right. Now, when you put WIF first before PEPE, it's basically just WIF divided by PEPE. All right. What does that mean? When the chart is going down like this, and I'll make this red. All right. When the chart is going down like this, that means that PEPE is outperforming WIF. All right. On the flip side of that, when this chart is going up, it means that WIF is outperforming PEPE. All right. So what we've been following closely here for a while is, all right, we're in this range. What's going to happen here? Are we going to break out to the upside and WIF is going to be the top performing meme of this cycle? Or is it going to end up kind of doing a Bart Simpson pattern, the famous Bart Simpson where, we do this is like his hair, and then ultimately it breaks down and, here's Bart's eyes. This is not going to look like Bart, right? But you guys have seen it before, something like this. So we are starting to get our answer, right? And nothing is guaranteed, right? Like there's many possibilities that can come out of this. And again, we can go back and forth all cycle. We've broken out now. We could lose this breakout and drop back down. But what this is telling me right now is that the market has determined that WIF, at least for the time being, is the stronger meme. And by the way, that is not a death sentence for PEPE at all. WIF could go up 20x from here, and PEPE could still go up 15x, right? But WIF is ever so slightly outperforming PEPE, and it's starting to break away from our 3-month accumulation range, or I guess maybe distribution range. So this is what we're looking at, guys. Like we're trying to determine which meme is the strongest, which one is the most deserving of our capital and our attention, right? So there's a couple things, and I mentioned this to Plasma yesterday. He pinged me and was like, hey, what's going on? You notice WIF was breaking out. He's like, what's going on here? Have we broken out, or are we still just kind of ranging? I said, no, we have broken out. We have certainly broken out. It's looking very strong. WIF looks good. And I outlined a couple scenarios. So here's one that needs to be considered as well. This would be the scenario that probably upon the Q2 open, we see PEPE mean revert really hard against WIF. And that would probably imply that PEPE begins its next leg up within the next, I would say, week. And I have some charts for that as well, which of course we'll get into because we're going to get into all of it. But I'm a big range trader as well. It's not a coincidence that, this pair has just been respecting this range. Like, is it a coincidence? Is it a conspiracy that, even the mid range here, why do we get so much interaction and bounces off these levels, right? Is it a conspiracy? Like, is it, I don't know, how can you refute it, right? It's a legitimate range. And these two assets are pair trading against each other. Whether it frustrates you that it works or not, it doesn't matter. So this is a range right now, and we're trying to break out. What is definitely possible is that PEPE starts its next leg up, and we see basically this mid-range get retested. So we would lose the range high, come back down to the mid-range. We'll see what happens. And then range theory suggests that if you get a deviation or a failed breakout of one side of a range, more times than not, you will be met with a symmetrical deviation to the opposing side of that range. So if we end up tucking back underneath here, which in my opinion, given how strong the market looks overall and what I'm expecting in Q2, would most probabilistically imply not that there's market weakness and WIF tanks, but actually that WIF continues up on its journey, but PEPE, mean reverts hard and actually begins to outperform. So this would be the bearish case for the WIF PEPE pair. In my opinion, it would be bullish for both if this happened. But also there's another scenario where we don't do this and this pair has just simply broken out. WIF is going to be the best performing asset, of this cycle, which, WIF's my second biggest meme bag. at this point, I wish it was my first because it's kicking Pepe's ass in the short term, but we don't have enough information to actually want to do anything yet. Like we need to let this, kind of marinate a little bit longer, because I could also see a scenario where, we might need to come back and retest this mid-range. Like there's an inefficiency from this gap up right here. It wouldn't surprise me at all before we even move up to see something like this, retest the mid-range, and then if we're going to move up and outperform, then we go up. All right. But if WIF is just
real quick.
Yeah.
When you got into WIF a while ago?
I got into WIF at like sub 20 cents. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you see in it? Like, honestly speaking, what did you see in it that said, was it the community?
No, it was that it was completely ridiculous, and I thought it was just going to pump. And some of my teammates that are better at, spotting this stuff early were basically like, yeah, like just throw some money at this, because it's almost like it's like so ridiculous, like a dog with a hat, right?
Yeah.
That it's like the first of its kind, right? We know that dog memes have done well before. I mean, it's really been the meme economy has been dominated by dogs, right? As silly as it sounds to even say that as a grown man, it's true.
Yeah.
So you just find a cute dog and throw a hat on it. You get some big, crypto influencers behind it, and they basically run marketing campaigns. And, it was trading well against Solana, right? So if we go back, and we'll come back to this chart here. Let's do this. So we'll look at, so WIF is obviously on Sol. So early on, we were watching this from a pair trading perspective, and we were saying, all right, you know what, like, do we really care about the meme, or do we care that it's basically just, going to hold well against Solana? So this is WIF paired against its alpha. Yeah. So we recognize early on, I mean, this only goes back to March, right? So actually this is not, this is on Binance, sorry. Let's look at MEXC. That probably has it before. Sol USD. Yeah, here we go. So we recognized early on, okay, this was back in December. All right, there appears to be some sort of like bullish pattern forming. It wasn't perfect, right? But WIF was at least respecting this pair. So we said, okay, there's a chance that this meme is just crazy enough and just marketable enough to basically pair trade against Solana. And we recognized, like, down in this region, okay, hey, look, this is on Sol. Sol doesn't really have like a king meme coin yet. There's been a few attempts that, in my opinion, kind of failed. Not hating, just we haven't really.
Bonk failed?
I wouldn't say Bonk failed, no, but I feel like it was a very like coordinated influencer pump the first time around. And I don't really love how they handled it. Like there's a little bit of drama with that. Not that I even want to get into it, but they kind of turned their back on some other project that I was a big fan of at the time, but I don't really want to get into it. So yeah, I'm not into that, right? It's just like I got airdropped some Bonk, a long time ago. It pumped, it did well. And then it just seemed like it kind of had this strange like exit pump this time around. And here's why I don't really care for Bonk. And we'll come back to this one as well. Somebody asked me this in my community the other day. They said, hey, I hold Bonk. Do you think I should sell Bonk into WIF? And look at this chart, David. I mean, this is straight down in a straight line, brother. I mean, I can't justify. This goes back. Let's go to January 1st, right? Here's December, January right here. Here was the January open, right? So let's see what's been happening. Bonk is down 91% against WIF, man. So it's like, it's just bleeding, right? So I think that the market is telling you, it's like everything I've said about it aside, I just look at this, right? I look at this and I go, the market has picked its fighter. The market has picked its winner, and it's certainly not Bonk. Will Bonk pump? Maybe, but what the opportunity cost of being in Bonk with size versus WIF, it's hard to justify with a chart like this, but maybe, there's a chance it comes back to life, right? If we see, maybe if we see something like this later on, we'll keep an eye on this trend line. If somehow we find a bottom, and we break out here and retest, and then, this level right here, wherever it is, holds as previous demand. Yeah, maybe there's some life in it, but they're getting killed right now. They're getting killed. I don't. Would you want to
That's
hold this
terrible.
chart?
No,
I would
that
not.
looks terrible.
It's terrible.
I don't want, and I don't want to like look. I don't want to take shots at Bonk. I think they didn't like. I think they started, memes on Solana. So I don't want to take shots at them. I did that once on Around the Blockchain. When they asked me my opinion of Bonk, the way it was explained to me, I was like, "Yo, this is garbage." The way it was explained. Everything that I got from like influencer this, they got dropped so much, like so many tokens and like I was like, yo, like I just don't get the part, like if you want to buy, like Solana's $8, $9, I'm like, if you want to support the network, why don't you get Solana versus getting bond? Like I just didn't get it. I guess I couldn't wrap my head around it, but when it started like moving the second time, but like I rather have, I couldn't get into that. This right here, dog with hat. Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm correct with that. Dog with hat. I feel like I'm spitting all over the place.
I think you just abbreviate it with whiff. It's
Whiff.
implied that it's a dog with a hat. You just go whiff.
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 Yeah.
Swing and a miss. No, but I like. Listen, I like what they're doing. Especially like they came to our spaces yesterday. It was really nice. Like I hold spaces at night at 11 p.m. and I have like the most sarcastic, talks with like some of the most well-known people, and it's just like straight sarcasm, like nothing more than that. And then the crowd gets into it and everybody's chatting. But they came in. Hey, they came in. I respect it. I just hate that I went into the wrong dog with hat. I wish I would have gone into the right one.
Bummer, bro. He bought the wrong one.
I bought the wrong one.
Did you buy it on ETH?
Yeah. The whole thing, they're like, yo, this is the real one. This is the guy who actually did the picture.
Yeah.
And now he's on ETH. And it was like, it looked like it had some steam. And I was like, all right, let me just go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the wrong move.
I had a friend do that. He hit me up and he's like, bro, what should I do with this? It doesn't look like it's updating like the price. And I was like, dude, that's on ETH. That's not WIF, brother.
Yeah, but at least he did it by accident. I'm like, yeah, let's go. ETH.
David did it after research.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Doc.
Maybe it'll still do well. Who knows?
Nah, it's dead. Don't worry about it.
It's over.
It's over. It looks like it looks exactly like where Bonk is heading. But
yeah.
But what we can get back to this. And I have a question.
Yeah.
I hate stopping you, but
no, please. I'll just keep going and going and going. Like if you didn't cut me off, I'd go for 3 hours.
No, like, and I love sitting back and listening to it because it's entertaining and it's educational. For me, is this now the asset that is going to go toe to toe with Pepe? Like for me, no matter what, I feel like Pepe is top dog.
Yeah.
But is this now the asset that will go head to head with Pepe? Like, is this the challenger?
I would say yes, but I would also argue that it's maybe less of a challenger. Even though we're totally comparing them against each other like they are going toe to toe, I would view them more as partners that can grow symbiotically together, where WIF's rise through the ranks would benefit Pepe because they are in comparable spots by market cap. Pepe is on ETH, WIF is on Sol. We're rooting for ETH and we're rooting for Sol. We want all memes to do well because, again, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yep.
I've picked the ones that I think are the winners. But yeah, I mean, I think hands down, these are the two best performing memes of this cycle. And it's becoming more clear as we get deeper into this cycle where the attention is, and yes, I would say yes. Like these are the two that you should be focused on at this point. And I'll, so here, okay. Yeah. So
Max, I DM'd WIF, because how it happened real quick is he jumped into space. I didn't know he was in there, and I'm sitting there, I'm co-hosting, and all of a sudden I get a follow from Dog with Hat randomly. I'm like, I don't what? Yeah. I'm like, he must be in the space. So I look down and he's in there. I'm like, let me invite his ass up. So I invited him up. He popped up.
Yeah.
And then I asked, have you seen the show? And he put his thumbs down. I'm like, will you watch the show? He's put his thumbs up. So I just sent him a tag. I said, Max is charting you right now. Pull up.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah.
That'd be great. But yeah, I mean, looking at this, right? Like you know that I'm always data dependent. Like there's a lot of emotions in this game, and I try to, do my best to leave them at the door. But, as it sits right now, you have to assume that this pair is breaking out. And if it does, right? So, I mean, let's just assume we're going to go from right here. I would expect this 1.618 fib extension to get hit. So maybe an additional 50% outperformance and then a pullback. But, if things really start to heat up, right? I mean, you could even prospect this 2.618, which is 260% above. So, that would imply, more than 2 or 3x outperformance from PEPE or WIF versus PEPE. So, if WIF goes, let's just say 30x from here or something crazy like that, maybe PEPE only goes 10x. Who knows, right? I don't know where these levels, are they going to get hit ever? Maybe we even re-enter this range and all cycle we just kind of go back and forth and back and forth, and it's just the WIF and the PEPE show trading blows. One thing to consider as well about WIF and PEPE, right? We already identified that WIF is on Solana and PEPE is on ETH. For those that have been in the market for longer than 6 months, the thing to, the L1 to lead off of the bottom and really kind of kick off this bull market was Solana. So there's also a chance that WIF is just sort of following suit with Sol being one of the market leaders and is going to be first to move through the ranks of this meme economy. And again, it's not a death sentence or anything like that for PEPE. It may just be moving first. So, we will certainly see what happens. But we could talk about like WIF. We could talk about WIF USD and have some fun here because I do have some pretty crazy targets for WIF, man. I really do. Like this thing looks insanely strong. Yeah, really, really insane. So I don't know if you guys, is there anything specific you guys want to talk about, or should we just go with WIF for now and we can go wherever?
But Bread did hit all-time highs last night. Probably today, I think over 600 million market cap, 650. I think, I don't know. Kept on going.
We need to talk about that too, man. Talk about a strong looking chart.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Let's wrap up the WIF conversation. Let me share a couple potential targets here. So, and then we're going to jump over to Brett, if that's cool with you guys, because Brett deserves the attention right now, man. Brett is absolutely ripping.
Right now, by the way, MFers dropped the token. So I'm looking, I am trying to get it like so badly, and I can't. Yeah, it's just not working.
I mean, the MFers? MFers? Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. NFT's got to do. Hey, bro, it's all right. As he's charting, just like go deep.
No, I'm listening at the same time. It's just that, like, man, it's like base. It's on base, so it's like hard.
Send it. I'm all about base now.
I love base, man. I low key think that base is gonna be like the savior for ETH, man. Like I didn't really think that until I started to use it.
It is totally. You nailed it.
It saved Ethereum, honestly, man. ETH was kind of feeling dead in the water. Like I actually wouldn't be surprised if we saw a crazy ETH rally off the back of base season. So,
amen.
Yeah, base is kind of epic. But I mean, just quickly looking at Dog with Hat, like from a local perspective, and I do have targets much higher than this, but where would I expect this next leg up to go, guys? This is why I'm always talking about these fibs and how well they work and how they play. So we identified our range right here. You can see we had, first major swing high, swing low. Look at all the interaction with the mid-range, like how well and how cleanly it played. We break out of this range right here. It's a terribly drawn arrow, but you get the point. Look, we break out, we come back, we test the 1.618, then we get stuck under the 2.618, 3 different rejections perfectly. Like, I mean, this line is auto-populated by the fib tool. I didn't manipulate this at all. I perfectly dragged it from this high to this low. And look at it's like price is just dancing around these magical lines, right? So where do I think we go next for WIF? I mean, it's pretty clear in my opinion. There's a lot of air above us. We got rejected from this level, this 2.618 marked out by these the red lines and the 3 red dots. We spent, a while trying to break through it. We finally just did. 3.618 is up here at, $10.50. I think that probably comes sooner rather than later, probably in Q2. So I do have some other targets as well, but I just wanted to show like locally what we could maybe expect and why I'm so bullish on it right now. Because it literally looks fantastic. So that looks good. I do have one more here. This was a different set of fibs here, like a more high time frame set. Same exact idea, right? So we have our range high perfectly, range low. We also have our mid-range here literally playing perfectly. And then you can see what happened here. When we break out, we basically got rejected. I'll zoom in a little bit. We got rejected at this 1.618 on the money, which by the way is just what happened to Bobo. So we'll talk about that as well. And then we flip the 1.618, 1, 2, we hold it, and now we're curling up. So what could we expect potentially here? We could even see $16 here soon because again, there is even more air just hanging out above us. And on top of that, the 3.618, if the 1.618 played, then the 2.618 is valid and the 3.618 is valid. So if this market heats up and things get crazy enough, again, I wouldn't rule out some of these crazy targets. And here we're actually we're gonna get really crazy real quick, and then we should probably talk about Brett, move on from WIF. But I've talked at length about how these fibs play, cycle after cycle after cycle, and they just almost to a spooky degree. They play. So let's look at Sol from last cycle, right? And let's see how these fibs played. This is actually, we're going to redraw this just so you guys can see me do it live. All right. What does this chart kind of look like to you guys, right? This little consolidation, here, we'll try to put it in a comparable looking time frame, right? So we start way down here and we're going to identify our first swing high, and then we're going to put on a swing low, and then we're going to draw some fibs from there. All right. So here we go. Man, look at this. Look at how well this plays. Unreal, man. Unreal. Oops. Sorry, I'm not on my big desktop. It's a little hard to get it to. All right, close enough. So look at this, how well this played, right? Like for Sol last cycle, look at this chart, how comparable it is potentially to what's going on right now. We've identified our swing high, swing low. We break out. We flip the 1.618, just like WIF did. And then we tag the 2.618, and then we tag the 3.618. So I look at this and I go, like these fibs play. You can see how in previous cycles they've all played, again. So things could get pretty crazy, guys. Honestly, things could get really, really crazy. But anyways, just a little fib example.
I just feel like there's so much. Like I feel it more so now. There's so many people that are just like, we love this thing that. Like I didn't mean it like, and I fuck with the whole partnership thing, playing off of each other and moving to all-time highs and breaking all-time highs. But I didn't expect it to do this. I really I'm like shocked at what it's doing, because it's like basically just a dog with a hat, and like people like, oh David, like why do you keep like no, I just like I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. That's all. And
yeah,
I think it will do well. It will be the top meme on Solana. There's no doubt about that for me. Yeah, 100% top meme.
Yeah,
I should get into it. Like I should just fucking get in at this point. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad buy really here, because again, you contextualize, like we haven't even had the Bitcoin halving yet. Guys like us have been here through the bear market and things are starting to heat up and you feel like maybe you're late, but we haven't even had the Bitcoin halving yet, man. And I've talked about charts on here. Like we typically begin to see that alt mania and serious altcoin outperformance after the Bitcoin halving, not before. So I don't really think this time is different. I think that we're just seeing a little bit of front running, but seriously, I mean, I don't see why WIF is a almost $4 billion ticker right now.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a soft toss to, at minimum, like 25, 30 bill this cycle conservatively, assuming that, nothing really bad happens or any black swans, obviously, but assuming that, we have clear skies ahead and we're in the midst, early innings of a bull market. Yeah, man. I mean, I actually feel more comfortable sizing into WIF now that it's a little bit more established than I did much earlier on, and that's just me personally. Like, I would rather wait for something to reach 500 mil to, even 5 billion and size into it when it feels more clear than just throw crazy money at something, because that feels like gambling more to me. And I have a hard time rationalizing that. But now that I have more history to go off of, I have more data. I mean, it's real. Like, it's trading off of these fibs. There are people watching this. There are the puppet masters, the market makers. They are watching this closely. So clearly it's going to be here to stay, in my opinion.
I got to get in after the show. I'm going to go and, at this point, it doesn't really matter. So like after the show, I'll probably go ahead and start, get my first bag. There you go. Get my first bag. I like the fact that they came into the show yesterday. That's what I like. Cool. I like the fact that they came in and they had they weren't arrogant or anything like, well, how can a dog who doesn't speak be arrogant? But I'm just saying in general, they came in, it was really cool. And then you have things like this that are put up and you're just like, damn, I really faded this at multiple numbers, man. 400 million, 600 million. You just keep watching it go up, and just, I don't know. I wish I can get the Max. You're into Bitcoin hard, right?
Yeah.
Like when you have the whole this Bitcoin mindset where it's just Bitcoin, and almost like you have PTSD where it says Bitcoin and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then like it's hard for you to understand some of these things go parabolic. That's what I'm going through.
No, I get that. I definitely understand that. And I put out a tweet about getting into something late. All right. And where it started for me, where it was a learning experience, is that my initial PEPE bag, I bought at like a sub 2 mil market cap.
Yeah.
I'd be like a top 20 holder right now if I had my original bag, man. It'd be worth millions. It'd be worth millions. I have the tweet out somewhere. Like, I don't know. It was maybe a couple weeks ago. But what I did is I sold it for a 2x. Like, I put in like $3,500 or something and I sold it for a 2x. And I was like, oh man, like, let's go. All right, just flip this overnight. And then I watched it go on to run 50x, in like a week. And I was like, what the hell just happened to me, man? Like,
that's the thing, right? So it's like, okay, we know to take profits, right?
Yeah.
Like 2x it's a good profit, right?
Overnight. Yeah.
Exactly.
Overnight.
So it's like, I got a 2x, I'm taking out, I win.
Yep.
Right? But then like a lot of these things, just like you didn't read me right.
Yeah. Kind
of like they point the finger at you and say, you haven't read me right.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, Max, I was starting off this like I had a totally different game. Like, I write everything down. I had a totally different game plan moving into this bull run, which I think is going to be epic. I had a totally different game plan. I had to readjust it just because I really went and learned meme culture and like why people are so stuck on certain assets. Yeah. Like, I had to really dive into the PEPE verse to understand, like, how does Bobo play here with PEPE? How does Sneeboo and like Bread and all these things you can name out right now? Like, how do they play into the equation? And what can they possibly do? And you start looking and the communities behind them, you're like, okay, you can't fade a community.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest problem, I think, is that I don't fade communities, but maybe it's just that I haven't sat in them and I'm so busy that I don't get to participate long enough to really get the vibe. So like Maybe that's the same case for you. I think maybe if you sat in the community, I don't think you would have flipped at 2x.
No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. I bought it for different. I didn't buy it for community. You know, I was dabbling on chain a little bit, but I mean, in my mind, I was like, all right, you know, one of my teammates who I trust just shilled this to me. I'll throw a little bit of money at it. If it goes to zero, it won't really change my life, and maybe I'll 2x. And I didn't look into it, and that was my fault, right? Like, you know, I would have, I mean, literally millions and millions of dollars for my original bag if I had just held it. But the moral of the story, there's a couple lessons to be learned from it. First, you got to always keep a runner. You know, when something starts moving, you can shave, take some profit. That's always a good strategy, but you got to keep a runner, you know, because it's a hedge against going crazy. All right. If you don't keep a runner and you shave and you sell your entire bag too early, you're going to go mentally insane, man. Watching that thing run, you're going to cope. You're going to start preying on its downfall. We've all been there, if we're being honest. You sold a bag too early and just started rooting against it in your head. You're like, I hope it goes to zero, man. Like,
right?
What the hell, I'm out of this shit, you know? That's natural. We've all been there. It's not fun to be a hater, man. I always side with optimism when I can.
Yeah.
It's much more fun to be optimistic. You got to do what's best for you. But I'm telling you, when you find a runner, something moves quick, take some profit. It'll calm your nerves a little bit, but you got to leave a moon bag. Second, there is nothing more expensive than an ego. All right. You need to sometimes swallow your pride. Sometimes you need to swallow your pride and buy somebody else's 50 or 100x because it still might run 100x from there. Okay. There's always some guy on the internet who got in well before you. All right. And that's just how things are going to go. You're never going to be the first one to get in unless you deployed the contract. All right. And most of us are not contract deployers. All right. So look, my story with PEPE, you know, in the very beginning was the following. I bought 560 or 600 billion in, you know, PEPE almost for like $3,000. I sold it for a 2x.
Oh my God.
I watched it run 50x without me. And I'm sitting there coping, man. I'm seething, man. I'm literally seething. I'm like, what the? And
so that's 2 plays.
Dude, this happened in under a week. Like all this happened.
That's horrific, bro.
You know, so I'm sitting there seething, coping to the maximum, you know, and this is something we've all been through, right? And I'm just sharing my experience because I want other people to understand, you know, what's potentially going to happen to them at some point if it hasn't happened yet. I watched PEPE go from, you know, where I bought 1.9 million market cap up to, you know, 4 million. I dump it for a 2x. I cope. I see that runs to 100 million market cap. And I sit there and I have to look in the mirror and I say to myself, all right, here's the deal, Max. You fucked up. All right, you fucked up. You had a plan to keep a moon bag just in case. That's my on-chain strategy is to like, you take a majority profit, you leave a moon bag. And I didn't follow my plan. I said, I've got 2 options here. This thing might run to $1 billion plus. That's still a 10x from here. I'm coping to the maximum. I'm rooting against it. I already messed up once. I can't go back and change that. But what I do have complete control of is what I do next. And I said to myself, I need to get back in this thing, even though it's 50x higher than my original entry. Because if this goes to $1 billion or 2 billion, or right now where it's at 3.5 billion, and I have no exposure to it, talk about cope, right? I need, for my mental security, I was like, I'm going to put 10 grand in this thing right now. Okay. If it goes to zero, I lose 10 grand, but it's a mental insurance policy because if it goes on, you know, to do a 50x from here, I'm not going to want to, you know, literally just go crazy and jump off my balcony. So it was a mental hedge is what it was. It was an insurance policy against my sanity. So I got back in, I put in a lot more than 10 grand. We were aping into it, but sometimes you have to swallow your pride and your ego and just go. The toughest thing to do, man, as an investor is to just look at yourself and own up to your mistakes, you know, because we all know what they are. You can say, you know, the market was wrong or, you know, I got bad advice or I got screwed over, man. I'm a businessman. I've built multiple businesses, man. I can never. You can't hide from yourself. You know what I mean? You can't lie to yourself. You know on the inside, you know exactly what's going on. And people that make excuses, you know, and have an ego or pride, or they think they're above, you know, somebody else or the market, man. No, you need to look in the mirror and recognize exactly where you're at and who you are. Self-awareness is, you know, it's a very underrated skill. And a lot of people need to work on that. And it's tough to just, swallow your pride and your ego and just, admit your mistakes and move on and do what's best for you. It's tough because people get in their own way, man. People are their own worst enemy.
For sure. 100% agree with that. By the way, welcome to the Breakdown, episode 406. We have Max here from Because Bitcoin On, just recapping everything and like diving deep into, hey, we had the main account on yesterday's show or late night show, Dog WIF Hat. And yeah, this is an incredible run that it's putting on. And Max is here saying like, hey, I had 2 plays. I had PEPE and I had this. 2x got out and they continued to obviously go. And it's probably like the hardest decision to make, man. It's like, when do you fucking pull out, man? When do you really pull out? And if you do pull out, are you going to leave yourself a moon bag to let it, leave that moon bag to let it ride, man? A lot of people that I'm close with, they take out initial profits and they let the bag run, And I think that's probably the most successful approach that you can probably take on with meme tokens, because you don't know what'll happen.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's the community that puts value on something. So, that's my approach now. My approach now is like, okay, I'll take initials and an extra with me, but I'll leave that moon bag in there and let it. Hey, it's house money, right? Let it do whatever it wants to do at that point.
You have to, man. You have to, especially when you're in a bull market. You have to. Just even if you don't want to, you're going to cope so hard if it pulls another 10x. Even that little moon bag that you leave can turn into a pretty large sum of money, man.
For sure.
You have to. It's an insurance policy, man. Like you can't be all in or all out, and you also have to diversify a little bit, which is why, some of these people, they're like, oh, should I sell my entire PEPE bag for WIF now that's breaking out? I'm like, absolutely not, man. You have no idea what's going to happen. Every breakout, or every future swing fail looks like a really strong breakout, before it fails. So,
I mean, that's the problem with people. So I say this all the time. It's like nobody wants to buy in the red, but everybody wants to buy in the green. And it's just like, because it's like, it's confirmation that the asset's good. It's like, bro, wealthy people don't buy in the green, or people who make money don't ever buy in the green. Warren Buffett did not buy companies in the green. He bought underappreciated assets, railroads, right, in the red. And that's why he's where he's at today. So just like, I don't know, man. It's psychological. When you see a red light, you stop. You see a green light, you go. And I think the color combinations work in these markets as well. But go ahead, Max. Or I mean, AJ.
Well, I just wanted to say on your point, Max, that because let's say you missed PEPE, but we have WIF. Let's say you missed whatever, something else, but then there's something on base like bread. And then so it's you just can't just trip out on these things. And I like your psychology of like, okay, you missed out on the massive move, but then you bought back in, and then maybe you get a 10x, so it's cool. And then pride and all that stuff, that's got to go out the window. And you got to, the simplest way that I do it, I'm like, what's reality? Because if I recognize reality and being willing to see it for whatever it is, you have to be humble enough to recognize that, and then you make your decision. So yeah, dude, I just think that there's more stuff on more chains now, especially because of base and because of potentially other chains moving other than ETH. I think there's still opportunities for people to catch one of these big plays.
Dude, 100%. We're not even getting, like, we haven't even started, in my opinion, yet. I mean, I have some charts. We've talked about them before. I'd be happy to show them as well. But I mean, we, in my opinion, are still very, very early. And everybody is just still carrying that little bit of denial, of like, maybe this isn't real, we're kind of just chopping here. I don't know. Like, I'm nervous. I don't want to give back, the little bit of gains I've had. I get it. Like, you have to work through that. And I've thought about it too, right? Like you have to entertain all scenarios. But again, this is why I lean into the charts so much, and why I've spent so much of my professional career learning how to do this, because then I'm not reliant on emotions, and I don't have to do mental grappling with myself to try to debate, sentiment on, are we overheated, or, is it a good time to invest? It's like, I can just look at the historical trends and go, well, this is what the data is telling me. Who cares what I feel? I'm an emotional being. Why should I rely on that? Why should I? And by the way, AJ, I don't know how long you guys are going. I canceled my meeting that's in 5 minutes, so I can hang out as long as you guys want.
Nice, man.
Yeah. I figured we were cooking, so I can hang out for a bit.
Yeah, we're cooking, bro.
I had to take a bathroom break. Man,
and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna get some water.
Go for it.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 406. These are master classes.
Yep.
I don't think you got to make your volume on your mic is low.
Is it
low?
Not you, Max.
Oh.
Is that better?
That's a little bit better.
A little bit.
I hear Max louder than you. That's why I was
weird.
Now it's better. Whatever you just did.
Just moved it up. Yep.
That's right. Boys are cooking. That's why I'm sitting back and for me personally, Greed, shut up. You know what? Shut up with you and your cat. Okay. I get it. I faded it. Do you understand how many people contact me per day telling me about some random meme tokens? Every day. Yo, Max, do you get that too? You get contacted by people bro, it's 10,000 per day. I don't know. I'm that's exhausting.
Bro, it's never stopped. It's a constant flow, man. And I appreciate that people, they look to me for guidance and they trust me. So it's I'm on one hand, I'm flattered, but at the other, on the other side, I'm like, oh, if I respond to one, then I have to respond to 1,000. Exactly. And then I'll have to commit my weekends to replying to DMs. And I'm like, I do so much free content. I'm on here once or twice a week with you guys. I got my own daily show. I got all this stuff every single day. I'm like, if you look through all of my stuff, all my reposts on my X, and you just put in the time yourself, spend an hour a day going through my stuff, and you'll know exactly what I feel about the market. And you will learn yourself how to analyze whatever ticker you want based on, my free educational stuff. You come on here and you look at us talk about, WIF versus PEPE, and you want to know how your cat coin is going to do against, something else, or if I like it. Well, you should understand right now that PEPE is my benchmark. How's your cat, how's the cat coin looking against PEPE? You got TradingView, you can type it in, but that's the thing. A lot of people, they want you to do it for them, and that I'm not really interested in. If somebody has a real question, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to fit this onto my chart and it's not looking like yours. What am I doing wrong? I'm more than happy to respond to that because you're trying to do it yourself. Yeah. But I'm not going to just, commit my days to doing free analysis for people, that are just lazy. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I it's every single message you get in the DMs, it's yo, this is the one. I got 50,000 of those messages as well. This is the one. Great. I don't have the powder. I just don't have. Look, I'm not Warren Buffett, bro. I'm not, and I'm definitely not taking out, Bitcoin to, go into any of these plays. Yeah, well, let's say 2 out of the 10 work out. Yeah, but they might just make me even, and I'm not stressing out and I'm not chasing. You know what the approach that I've taken, Max, is if it comes to me, no problem. I'll go ahead and take it on. But if I have to chase, it's the worst thing. You'll lose so much money chasing. And I say this consistently. You can't keep chasing. You can't chase. You're gonna destroy yourself, man. You will destroy yourself.
100%. Yeah, you can't chase. But then there's also that balance that you need to walk, where you need to recognize, am I chasing, or is my pride and ego in the way that it's up so much, I can't. If that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, but what are you gonna get? So what are you gonna get if you send, let's say, 15 ETH into something that's almost at $1 billion, right?
Right.
And then it might go to 5. What are you getting out of it? I'm all profit is good profit. Don't get me wrong, but what are you getting out of it? It's really we're here to make profit, right? That's kind of What are you gonna make? 50,000? I don't want to say that because that sounds obnoxious, but like it's not.
Well, I see what you're saying, but here's the thing, right? You got to think in terms of compounding gains, right? So
Right.
if you attach a probability to, hey, I can turn 15 ETH into 50 ETH, whatever it is,
Yeah.
or even just double my money. I'll take 50 grand and flip it into 100 grand, and I'm really high conviction on this. Yeah, it's not going to be 100x, but I feel like I can run this thing up for a week and flip 50 into 100k. Then you got 100k, and you say, all right, now what's the next 2x? And over a quarter, I mean, compounding interest is compounded interest, compounding multiples. It's much easier to hit, 100 2x's than it is to hit 100x's. I mean, that's a unicorn, right? It happens. We've all done it. We've all been there. We work hard at our craft, to position ourselves to do that by networking and talking with people. It's a huge market. But that's where I look at it and I go, okay, what's my conviction level? It's not about how much money I can make. If I can make even a 2x, I'll consider it, right?
Yeah.
But it's a conviction thing, right? Like, do you want to buy something that you're kind of moderate to low conviction on, and maybe it's only going to go 2 or 3x? No. But with something like even a WIF, right? David, you're late to WIF or later, right? I got in at 20 cents. You're going to be considering buying it after the show. You said at $3 or $4, right? But
Which
in
is
my opinion,
that's a really I'm taking a chance.
But that's a high conviction 3-4x in my opinion over the rest of the cycle, like a soft toss 3 or 4x. So you could look at that and go, all right, I have the luxury of being able to size into that thing with more than 50 grand. Yeah. I could throw $1 million at that thing and understand that, hey, it's trading well against Solana, it's outperforming PEPE, it's pair trading well against Doge. This is a real asset that is being crowned by the market. Okay, so maybe I'm not going to hit 100x on it, but I have the luxury of throwing in 10 times as much money now than I would have 3 months ago because it's more established and it's a high conviction, safe potential 3 to 5x minimum, right? So it's just about perspective, right? Like,
yep.
I don't look at how many multiples I can make. I look at the whole picture. What's my conviction level? What's my risk of rug? How much can I size into this thing? I want to make a certain amount of money. Am I comfortable to actually put in enough principal and risk that to accomplish my goals? It's not about, can I hit a 50x or 100x, because you could just put in way more money and make the same amount.
But here's my thing, right? At the same time, so let's say I go into WIF right now, right?
Yeah.
I put in 100 grand.
All right.
5 hours from now, a play comes out. I only got 50 grand left. But I want to get a better position in it. I'm now tied into something that potentially is only going to get me 4x versus something, and I'm talking about something legitimate.
Okay, let me ask you this though before you continue. So you, in this scenario, you'd put 100 grand into WIF. In this new hypothetical play that you're talking about, would you feel confident putting in 100K to that new position or less?
It depends on what it is. It really depends on, like, if there's history and a community behind it, I might swing it that way. Listen, that's what I did in 2021. I'm not saying it's the right approach. All I'm saying is it's my approach. So I go into WIF, I know I'm going to get a 4 or 5x. That's it. I expect that you're going to get a 4 or 5x during the peak of the bull run. Peak, we're talking about the peak, right? If I put 100 grand into it right now, 4 or 5x is what I can expect, correct?
Well, no, I actually think a lot more. I was being conservative. I actually think WIF could go to 50 billion to maybe even 100 billion. So it's at a 3 or 4 billion right now. But here's the beauty of it, David, as well, is that you're not staking these tokens. You're not locked up. They're liquid. If you see something new and shiny come out and you're like, I think this is going to perform better than WIF, then you sell your WIF, you swap into whatever that is, and then you can reassess and always get back in. It's a very liquid name. You're not gonna, you could dump 500K of WIF and probably not mess up the chart at all.
The whole thing is, like, when I make a conviction play, I stick with it. It's like I won't get out just to go and take, like, I go into WIF and 2 weeks later something comes out, I'm pulling. No, that's not me. I won't round trip either this time around, but my conviction is in WIF. I will stay in WIF, and I'll ride it until I have until I hit my numbers here. I'll ride it until I hit my numbers, and that's when I'll start scaling out. But for me to take that money out and then like throw it at 2 weeks after putting it into WIF, it's just like, I don't want to, like, first of all, you're busy, right? We're all busy. I don't have time for it. I don't even have time to start like flipping around and taking money. That I feel like that approach is how you lose. Like you start becoming that person that chases shit around, right?
Yeah, you can't do that.
So it's like right now, like I sit here, like there are plays that I missed out on, and I'm like, I could do what I was doing like 5 years ago in the meme economy. I could chase, or I can sit here patiently and wait for the next. Or maybe see if something pulls back and then get in. You know, even if it's at a higher price, maybe get in there and then slowly start DCAing. This is weird. The language that I'm using, DCAing into meme assets, is weird, but I'm comfortable with it when it comes to real assets.
Well, look at this. Look at this is why I'm putting whatever I can in Bobo and whatever I can in Brett, because they're not at 4 billion yet. And I'm seeing that there's a big chance that, you know, and we have not hit peak bull. Bitcoin hasn't hit over 100K. And also, what about the compounding scenario, Dave? So if Bitcoin's at 100, 120K, where is Brett? Where is Bobo? And then also, where is ETH? Is ETH at 3,500 anymore? I seriously doubt that if Bitcoin's at 100, 120K. Maybe ETH is at 8.
That's another scenario that nobody's, like, I don't think we touched on it. And I think people will need to understand, when all these things do skyrocket, we're talking about 50 billion, like you just mentioned, WIF going to 50 billion, PEPE going to 90 billion, whatever, Bobo going to 40, Brett going to 20. It doesn't matter. Like, Ethereum itself will be at 10, hypothetically. So now when you take your profit out, you're not getting Ethereum at 35. You're not getting, like, you know, hypothetically, you're not getting 2 ETH. And now you're getting 1, or maybe a half an ETH. Like, I think a lot of people are still stuck in their head saying, like, the shit's going to go 50x. I'm going to take out money and go get ETH at the same price. It's not going to happen. Same thing with Solana. Like, if you're on Solana, it's not going to happen either. I'm thinking, my mindset right now is, when I take these profits, I'm going into stables and waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum to go ahead and pull back and then get in. That's the mindset. You got to have it in stables.
For me, I would have totally loved to get on the nubs or nibs or whatever it's called, nips. I don't know what it is, but I mean, we got Bobo sitting under 100 million. We got Brett sitting under 1 billion, just hit all-time high. We have the wild card of base that haven't even dropped their token yet. I'm seeing it clearly there, and I nothing against Dog with Hat, but if I'm gonna drop like heavy or put some weight on something, I don't know if I put it in Dog with Hat right now. And it's not FUD. It's just because I'm looking at the other things that I'm convicted in.
Yeah, but why would you not go into PEPE or WIF? It just
I would,
sense.
but just not with weight, not with. You know,
if you did go with weight, then you actually you will make, like, so you are like literally say, like, when I think, Max, you can agree on this. If you went heavy into PEPE and like WIF, and it goes from here and now goes to 50 billion,
that's big.
It's a safer and bigger, like, I don't know, it's a bigger play.
Bobo is a little riskier, but I think in the short term it could be insane, you know. And Brett too. So I kind of putting my cards on Brett, to be honest.
So here's how I view it. Like, I agree with what both of you are saying. I think we can all agree Brett is going to be riskier than PEPE, right? Brett's riskier than WIF. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be that way, but for right now, it's less established. It's newer. It is riskier, right? And I hold Brett. I'm very bullish on it. So when you're talking about, I wouldn't put a bunch of money in WIF. I think the best way to look at it is, all right, I would throw 100K at WIF right now, and I'd probably only throw like 100, or I'd throw 100K at WIF, and I'd probably only throw 15 or 20K at Brett because it is riskier. So if Brett outperforms, that's great. Then you'll have potentially more multiples than you would with WIF, but your position size is so much smaller than that of what you would feel comfortable with throwing at PEPE or WIF because they're more established and they are safer. So that's the difference, right? Like I don't focus on the multiples. I just focus on how much should I realistically be allocating to some of these new names? What's the risk profile, right? It's all about my position size. I don't have nearly as much in Bobo as I do PEPE. I don't need to.
Right.
To get the same amount of dollars out of it, if everything goes well, I can put, 1/5 the amount in Bobo, and it's the same as putting in, 5 times that principal balance that I have in Bobo into PEPE. I could put in, 5K into Bobo or 25K into PEPE, and I should get comparable dollars out at the end of the cycle because of the risk profiles and the volatility attached to each one, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you. And again, I just don't know enough about WIF other than it's cute and that they're going to be on the sphere.
That's all you need to know. That's
it.
it.
I need to know. I just don't know.
My approach is I'm fine with going in. I don't have WIF right now at all, but I don't mind going into WIF and getting a 3x or a 4x because you have to allocate correctly. There are some things you're going to make a 50x on. There are things you're going to make a 20x on. I'm fine with having 10 assets that I'll make 4 to 5x on, or even 2 to 3x on.
With size.
Correct.
That's the difference.
So I'm okay with that. Even if it's reaching, for me personally, even if it's going to reach the top, if I'm entering in and it's close to the top, everybody, listen, at the end of the day, you do what's comfortable for you. That's it. Have your strategy out there. I have mine, man. Like I said, I'll get into 10 plays that'll give me 2 to 5x with size. That's me.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah. What happens? 10 plays, 2 to 5x. Calculate that.
That's all you need, man. With size, you could throw $1 million, $1 million, 5x. That's huge money, right? Or you take 100K, and sprinkle it amongst a bunch of 50 to 100x potentials. It's just what game do you want to play, right? And if I was sitting here with a $10,000 portfolio, I'd only be looking for 50 or 100 X's. But David and AJ, you guys are working with a lot more than a 10K portfolio. So it's size into something with conviction that you will diamond hand through this cycle and look for a 3 to maybe 10x or 20x if you get lucky with some serious size on it. That's probably the strategy for guys that are playing with a little bit of dough. But I wanted to just talk about this chart real quick, and I want to spend much time on it because we've already I think the first time I came on here we talked about it. But this is, everybody thinks that they're late, right? And I want to just start here. So here's Bitcoin in the upper left. Here's the previous all-time highs marked out, horizontal line, horizontal line, horizontal line. I marked out the previous breaks of the all-time high by purple dots. I correspond those purple dots on the Bitcoin dominance chart and also the others chart. The others chart is the entire crypto asset class minus the top 10 projects by market cap. So minus Bitcoin, minus ETH, minus Sol, minus BNB, and then of course there's some stable coins in there. But this is all your mid cap alts and down. Okay. So what happens, with these purple dots? Every single time Bitcoin makes an all-time high, Bitcoin ends up continuing upwards. It goes on a parabola. It looks very nice. Bitcoin dominance begins to drop within the next 30 to 60 days. And then we see dramatic outperformance from altcoins. So where are we at in this cycle? If this cycle is somewhat comparable to other cycles, then we're equivalent to being in February of 2017. And we're also comparably in January or February of 2021. And Bitcoin dominance, again, has been trending up aggressively, just like it did during these 2 times before it dropped. And, again, from a purple dot perspective, right, kind of funny to say, we're in terms of altcoin pumps, we're right here. And, we're right here. So everybody kind of feels like they're late, and that's why, David, you're like, oh, I'm kind of late to WIF. Like, well, you're more late than some. I got in earlier than you, but it comes back to that story that I mentioned about my PEPE bag, right? You have to swallow that pride at some point and go, I'm buying somebody else's 20x. But here's the deal. I don't care because it's probably still going to go up 20x. And now it's more established and I can size into it.
Correct.
But anyways.
No, I agree with you 100%.
You guys want to talk about Brett?
For sure. Whatever it is. I mean, this is it.
All right, let's see if I can find Brett.
By the way, welcome to the breakdown, episode 406. We're here with Max from Because Bitcoin. We are looking at the charts. We're talking about, I guess, strategies, or at least our strategies. And none of this is financial advice. None of us are financial advisors. If you need financial advice, seek out a financial advisor and see if investing is right for you. We're more so just sitting back here and hypothetically speaking on ways that we would enter in the markets. And everybody has a different type of, well, I do it this way and you do it that way. I love hearing different opinions on how people invest in this market. It's really hard too. Like, we're talking about meme tokens, right? We're talking about meme tokens. It's hard unless no matter how much studying I've done on the history of a meme token, it really comes down to the dev, the tokenomics, all this, the community, obviously. Like, the community ultimately puts value on these assets, not us, it's the community. And it's hard. It's hard, especially when there's one coming out every fucking 3 minutes. It's really hard to you almost feel like you're missing every play, right? In some sense, every single time you hear something, you want to go into it, but then you're going to leave yourself assed out. I think the best strategy is, for me personally, is I'm going to let everything come to me. And if it makes sense, I'm going to go in, but I'm looking for the 2 to 5x. And then I'm also looking for that killer home run, right? It's like a baseball player. Single, double, bunt. But then there's a fucking fastball that comes right down the middle and you see it and you crack it and it's a home run. And that's the 50 to 100x that you hit. And now everything that you've done, that hard work that you've put in, that research, that studying, listening to shows like ours, podcasts, you tune into, Max and the crew, Because Bitcoin, you do it all and it's paid off. You've been patient at the plate. You took the singles, you took whatever came your way. That's what baseball players always do, right? They get up there and the coaches tell them, take whatever you can get, right? And that's basically my mindset. I'm going to take whatever I can get, and hopefully I can swing one where it goes over the fence. But back to you, Max.
Yeah. A lot of wise words there. So looking at Brett here, we started watching it when I was first presented with Brett by you guys. And I'll actually we'll draw these fresh. I like to draw them fresh with you guys. Why not? I was on here, we were looking at it, and I said to you guys, I'm sure somebody can pull the clip up, right? We were over here, right? So here, I'll make this white. We were looking at this. All of this hadn't happened yet. All right. So I said, yeah, the chart actually looks kind of good. It's kind of doing like a little compression, whatever, bull flag, something like this, right? And I said to you guys, all right, look, I want to see these 2 highs hold right here. I remember we have the clip. We have the clip somewhere. I put 2 dots here. I said, I want to see these 2 highs hold. That's it. And I said, if we get down into this region, I would become interested. Somewhere below here, I want to see these highs tested. I want to see it hold. I want it to prove itself to me. And then basically right after the show, it hit right away. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm interested. So I've taken a little bit of a dive into Brett. It's It's very interesting. It's obviously the #1 meme coin on base. It's got a really strong community. Crash, who's very smart, he speaks highly of it. And honestly, like when you saw this occurring, this compression here, where there were some breakdown attempts, obviously, like look at what happened here. Look at some of these candles. Aggressive sell-off, bids back. Aggressive sell-off, bids back. I mean, they're walking price up into into a breakout here. So really all you need to focus on at this point for Brett is, let's see if I can find my tools here on Deck Screener. All you need is for this breakout spot to hold. That's it. I don't even know if you'll get your retest. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But this is it. Like all of this should be safe. If you bought in here, you should be safe unless, you get, dumped on with some bad luck or something like that. But this thing is trading very, very cleanly. Really nice breakout. Again, we're going to pull up some fibs just because I don't think there's a better way to navigate, price discovery than with fibs. So we are in price discovery. Let's see here. All right. So again, we identify our swing high and then our swing low. We get a breakout. Where are we going from here? Well, I think the obvious targets are going to be the 1.618 and then the 2.618 to start. Okay. So it really depends when we get there, like what the reaction looks like. And the way that I see things playing out is probably like, maybe we come here, we'll curl back up. We'll probably flip the 1.618 if I had to guess. And then I would expect the 2.618 up at, 10 cents ish. Actually, let me just make sure this is in the right log mode. Yeah, hang on. We're actually going to put this in log mode. It's similar levels, but when you're in price discovery with something that's growing this quickly, I think you have to do it in log mode. So I would expect this 1.618 at about 9.5, 10 cents to get hit. And then the big question is, does it flip right away? I could see either a quick rejection here into reaccumulation and then it flips, or we just go right on up to the 2.618 at even 25 cents. So here's the deal. Like I think it's a given that, these base tickers, we haven't seen a base meme coin hit $1 billion yet. At least I'm not familiar with it. We haven't seen that happen yet. $1 billion to me, it feels like a soft toss. It feels like Brett's going to be the first one to do it. But then once you crush $1 billion, it's like, how quick does 2 billion come? How quick does 2.5, 3, 4, 5 billion come? And that's going to be dependent on broader market conditions. And the reason that I say that is, we're looking at something like Brett, and I can't line it up here on Deck Screener. This isn't even on TradingView yet. That's how young this is. But these peaks right here, they're lining up perfectly with like Bitcoin's peaks and Pepe's peaks. These lows here are lined up with Bitcoin and ETH and Sol and Doge and Pepe, all of their local lows. This thing isn't trading randomly. It's trading like, beta to Doge, which is beta to Bitcoin. So it kind of fits into that whole like spiel that I always do, where it's like, if I'm bullish Bitcoin, then I'm bullish Doge, then I'm bullish Pepe, then I'm bullish Bobo, then I'm bullish Brett, right? And we just keep adding on beta, 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 as long as it's determining that we're allowed to do that. And as of right now, the market starts to perk up. We top on the same day that majors top. We bottom on the same day that majors bottom. So, my gut is telling me that as we head into Q2 here, one, we're starting to break out here. Like Brett looks really solid. Here are my levels. I feel like we got to keep an eye on 10 cents. See what happens there. If we flip it, then I think that, things really heat up quickly. But the real question is, are you bullish Bitcoin, Doge, Pepe, WIF, Solana, and ETH in Q2? That should be the question you're asking, because Brett is trading somewhat correlated to all of these other big names. So the chart looks really good. The community's strong. I like that I can chart it and it respects the charts. And I'm bullish all those tickers that I just mentioned. Therefore, we should be bullish Brett. And look at this here. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about real quick. We're going to have to jump back and forth. But let's go back here and look at, Brett's first little rise here. So let's just start on March 4th, and then we'll go over to TradingView. So on March 4th or March 3rd, we had a bottom, basically March 4th. We had a bottom form on Brett, and we went up, 1,100%, and we topped on March 15th. So now what I want to do is I want to go back to TradingView real quick, and then I will show you that time window on some other majors. So I've got TradingView up now. Let's look at PEPE, and we will remove the indicators. All right. If you guys could do me a solid real quick and just throw up TradingView, and I will show you what I'm talking about here. David or AJ, either one of you, if you guys can hear me. My chart is perfect. Thank you, guys. So we're going to go and we're going to look at that window between March 3rd and March 10th. All right. So we're going to identify it here on PEPE. So March 3rd, we bottomed as well, very, very similarly to Brett. And then we go over to March 10th, where we put in our top. This actually happened a little bit before. Between that March 3rd and March 10th window, Brett went up over 1,000%. PEPE went up 100. I mean, we could even take it from the low, right? Like let's be generous, just so nobody says we're cheating on it. Okay. During that same window, they both bottomed on March 3rd and topped on March 9th to 10th. But Brett went up 8x more than PEPE did, and they formed local lows and tops on the same day. So the question should not be, are you bullish Brett? It's, are you bullish majors? And if so, then Brett is going to do extremely well and access, a very high beta to these names that we talk about almost every single week. And it's really reassuring to know that Brett is actually trading somewhat correlated to majors. It's joining that club. It's no longer a random micro cap. It has transcended that type of valuation. It is now an asset that in my opinion deserves to be respected because of how it's trading against majors. It's trying to join that next club.
Bullish.
I'm talking. I'm muted. I was like, I'm writing everything down, like literally as you're talking about it. And as we speak, I just want you to know, as we speak, I mentioned what motherfuckers, MFers launching a token.
Yeah.
On base.
Just when they launched. What's it at right now?
42 million.
What's the ticker? If you guys
Now jobs get in the way. That's I'm telling you, like I couldn't even swap for it.
I'll text it to you. Yeah. I was looking right now.
You got to buy. Yeah, listen, you either decide you want to go and do content creation and have shows every day, helping educate people on assets and breaking things down, or you go and you say, I quit, and you jump into the markets and every single play. Like that to me, the MFR play was like, that was guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's done.
No, but I'm just saying, like that MF for play, it was a layup.
Yeah,
layup.
I didn't know about it till I got on here with you.
Layup. Somebody here, look, check this out. Like saying this is stupidity. Like I'm writing as Max is talking, I'm writing everything down, and I'm looking at everything break out at the same time in terms of the MFers, because that's the one I was looking at. You're not gonna have every day like 10 calls like popping out. No, there's always one. It's like one in a 2-day span, you'll have one or two that pop off, right? You had this cat thing that popped off. I don't know what it's related to and what it's all about, but like I'm writing, I'm writing. I threw out the MFR information here, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't know about it. I'm sure you got in, so say thank you, right? Instead, you get messages like this, obnoxious messages. I watch. It's just like, it's called multitasking. And I can listen to Max Cook at the same time as I can look at DMs coming through and saying, guys, look at this one. Look at this one from people that I trust. So, again, the breakdown episode 406. I appreciate you canceling your interview or your session or conference call and staying on here to break down charts with us today. Really do appreciate that, Max.
Yeah, of course, man. No, it was a call with my accountant, so I didn't really want to do it anyways. It's kind of boring, so I figured we could do that next week.
That will be so much fun.
So boring, man.
It is boring. It is, but we got to do that kind of shit. Where can everybody find you? Well, I've tagged your handle already, but if they want to find you, you got a website? Is it becausebitcoin.com?
Yeah, or you could just go to X, right? So it's Because Bitcoin, or you can look up my personal handle, which is Max Because Bit. You'll see me on the Because Bitcoin page. Yeah, check out Because Bitcoin. Also, if you just look us up on YouTube, you'll see Because Bitcoin. You'll see my face all over it. So pretty easy to remember. Because Bitcoin. Spell it just as it sounds.
You had an easy day today.
Every day, you guys have YouTubes coming out. I'm noticing because I'm a subscriber, so it's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, twice a day, man.
Yeah,
you gotta grind, man. You gotta make that algo like you, I guess. So
yeah, exactly.
Don't stop grinding, and I hope that you come on next week to go ahead and obviously once this month finish, we'll be into next month. Once this month finishes off, we can start looking at quarter 2 now.
I'm excited, man. I'll come on anytime. I love hanging with you guys.
Contracts expire today.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep.
Max, appreciate it. Have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you for your time.
I love Max. I love this guy. I really do. The way he breaks it down, like I feel like I'm in school.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here, like I'm notating.